Hello, we'll get going in just a second here, folks. Let me disable my, I think my lights might be a little bright. Let's see. I tend to like setting the lights up so that like I'm not squinting. Hello, Bass for Cars. This one doesn't look like it's responding. IoT devices are great, aren't they? It's a little better. Not too dark. It's been a while since I've been watching you. Yeah, it's been a minute. We'll get going here in just a second. Let me rearrange my windows. And I'll say hi to folks as they come. Hi, Ludovic. Hello, Beata. Hi, Johnny and Jono. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, hi, DCD. So hello, everyone. This is me looking at the chat. Hello, my name is Scott. I work on CircuitPython for Adafruit. I work out of Seattle here. It's a kind of a dark and rainy day, not as bright. Hello, Johnny Bergdahl as well. I guess I said hello to you in Discord already. So I work on CircuitPython, which is a version of Python designed for microcontrollers. Python is that programming language known for being really easy to learn. And we work on it for microcontrollers, which are little tiny computers. Here's an example of, this is a prototype, so it's a little fluxy, but this little chip here is a computer all kind of in one chip. You plug in your USB, it shows up as a CircuitPy drive, and you can edit it. You can edit your Python code. It runs all based on the, it's all self-contained on the device itself for all the parsing and execution of that Python code. And yeah, so I work for Adafruit. Adafruit is an open source hardware and software company based out of New York City. I work remotely for them. They do, so that board I showed is a prototype. Here's another board. So they take microcontrollers from other companies and they put them on what are called development boards, where they've taken, broken out the functionality so that you can develop or prototype with them, or make one-off projects for whatever you want to do. So learn.adafruit.com, you can go see all the projects that they've shown you how to do and what things you need to implement that. And then, yeah, so adafruit.com is the shop. The Learn guides at learn.adafruit.com will link you to the items in the shop that you may need. Maybe those are gunshots. I don't know if you can hear them. Or fireworks. I'm sure we'll find out. So adafruit.com, support me. They pay me to do these streams and work on CircuitPython. Now, the last few weeks, this is a deep dive. It's a stream that I do on Fridays about 2 p.m. Pacific for about 2 hours. I'll probably be able to do 2 hours. It's not super hot in here. I'm not super tired or anything. So we could plan on about 2 hours. I love to take questions. And so if you have questions, let me know what they are, and I'll take a look at them. This middle box here is actually the Discord server, and then this is the YouTube. Raul says, CircuitPython for the win. Thank you. So if you want to be on the middle one, this is the Discord. You can go to the URL adafru.it/discord. That will get you on there. And the benefit there is that there is a deep divers role that you can be a part of, which will, deep divers will, sorry. allow me to notify you when things happen. So for example, I'm about to have a baby, our second baby. I've mentioned this before. The due date is like just over a week away. So when that happens, I will take time off and I will let deep divers know when that is based on the Discord. So next week will probably be my last week, but this week could be as well. And then Foamy Guy may or may not fill in for me on deep dives depending on their schedule. He can also let the deep divers role know on Discord. So that's the housekeeping. I think besides me getting, yeah, I did mention that before. Hams Lab says hi and congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. My plan is to take 4 weeks off at the start, come back and work, and basically work until, well, the holidays, and then after that until my partner goes back to work, and then I will take a bigger 8+ week chunk of time off there because I will be doing baby care. So that's kind of the plan, and I think that's a like April-May timeframe. So that's what's going on. The other thing I do in a deep dive is I just bring the work that I've done during the week. And like the last few deep dives, I'm not actually working much on CircuitPython. I'm working on CircuitMatter, which is a Python implementation of the Matter spec targeted towards running on CircuitPython. It doesn't currently work on CircuitPython. CircuitPython actually needs some more features to do that. But the goal is to have a pure Python implementation of the core bits of the Matter spec so that we can make Matter compatible devices, not compliant because we won't be, or certified, we won't be doing certification, but they will be compliant with the Matter spec so that you can use them from Apple Home, Google Home, Samsung Home, Amazon, whatever all their different terms are. Okay, so I will recap that in just a bit, but first I wanted, Tyeth had a question, so I'll talk about that. It said, hey Scott, did you see the Espressif Matter update video? They mentioned the new things in 1.3, like washers and dryers, but there was some mention of control panels, external device. I'll have to dig it out. I did watch the video. Somebody, after show and tell this week, DM'd me the links. Generally don't DM me, you can @ me instead in a public place, but I did watch it. I didn't find it that interesting. I haven't spent a lot of time in the different device types area of things, but so it wasn't that relevant. They had some also stuff for the ICD devices, the intermittently connected devices, so like battery devices. That's kind of interesting too, but I'm not like fully caught up kind of spec-wise in my implementation, so it doesn't super matter. And I'm also targeting like RGB light, or a regular light bulb, which is like one of the very first things. Hams Labs asks, who's doing the CircuitPython work to get it working over? No one is currently working on it. In theory, Dan is going to pick this stuff up when I go on paternity leave. But he's also getting CircuitPython releases out the door and bugs fixed in order to do that. So in theory, Dan's going to do some of the CircuitPython porting work. My focus, because I don't have much time, don't know how much, but it could be like today's my last day, or it could be that I have all next week. Any more than that, I feel sorry for my partner, because that will be after the due date. But my goal right now is to get it in a place that we can use it on Raspberry Pis, or generally single board computers. So I actually I dug out a Pi 02. And one thing we may try to do is actually get CircuitMatter running on the Pi 02, and then we could actually connect an LED to it, which would be quite the feat. And it was actually kind of like, my goal before the baby came was to kind of get through all the layers of the Matter spec, which I feel like I've done. So I don't remember how far I got last week. I never do. I think one thing I did was saving and restoring state. So we talked about the commissioning process, which is getting on the network and convincing the commissioner or controller that you should be there, and it gives you a bunch of certificates, and that's what you use to get on it the second time. And so I've added a way to save and restore state into CircuitMatter, which was the right way to do it. So now maybe I should just show you the way it works now. I've also redone the, so let me see. I'm going to pull it up on my phone, and I was in presentation mode. Okay, so currently on my home, there's no CircuitMatter device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this live device state, and I'm going to run the replay example. So I've reorganized how to do it into this examples directory. And what I get here is I'm getting a QR code that I am going to scan with my phone. And I'm going to hit, let's see, look at my screen sharing. Add to home, add anyway. And StudioWorks is where I work. And I'm going to call it CircuitMatter. I'll show you what I'm doing. So this is like the accessory name. Hit continue. And it's thinking. I don't want to do any of these actions, and I'm done. So now here I can hit CircuitMatter on, CircuitMatter off, CircuitMatter on. Oh, and you can't see. So on the desktop here, which is frozen, so let me re-grant it the screen part. We're pretty informal here, I think. So here's the output. So it did all of the things, and now here's the on-offs that I was toggling from my phone. So if I just go and I pull it up again, I know it's smaller for you now, but if I hit the CircuitMatter one, you'll see that I should be getting things happening on the console. Now, what I can do is I can Control-C it here. And now if I rerun it, we'll see how it does. There's like a timeout period. But now it didn't give me the QR code, but I can still, we'll see if it works. If I hit on again, so it wasn't able to find the session because my home device thinks that the session it was doing before I Control-C'd it should be valid still. So there's like some sort of delay where it's just like waiting for something, and then it should, right, so it reestablished a new session after the old one didn't work long enough. And now if I go to the bottom again, if I hit it, now I'm getting my on-offs again. So that's saving and restoring the state. And the place that it's doing that is, there is a file now. If I Control-C it again, and then I just do bat, there's a new file called live device state. So there's a discriminator, a manual code, an iteration salt verifier, and then state for the different clusters. So there's certificates in here. There are, yeah, just different data structures. A lot of these are base 64 encoded. That's why they don't make sense. Here's your private keys. So we are not going to, I'm not targeting to be secure. I am not targeting to be certified, secure or certified. As I showed you, there's an add anyway button that can get you around that check. But yeah, so everything stayed there, or is saved there. So if you rerun again, it just starts up from where you left off, which is pretty neat. So again, if I just show it again, I run this example, it publishes a couple things to the network using MDNS, and now I can go here and I can toggle off and on, but it's struggling, so it's got to like wait for this old session that Apple thinks exists to not work. And then it reestablishes it after that kind of timeout. And now I can do on off again. So that's where I'm at. And I was like, oh, this is great, but like I don't have a great way to connect an LED to my computer to actually have a light demo. So I was like, all right, well, I want to get it on a Raspberry Pi. And if I want to get it on a Raspberry Pi, DCD says good progress. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So another thing that I did was like, oh, if I want to package it on PyPI, I've got to, like, there's these certificates, the device attestation certificate, or DAC, and then also a certification declaration that is signed by that certificate. And I had like hard-coded a number of those things, and yesterday I figured out how to generate them on the fly. So what you can do now, and we'll try this if I can, I don't do a lot of Raspberry Pi stuff, but in theory, actually I could just show you here. Actually, let's be a little nice. Let's tell Apple that we're no longer there. So here on Apple, I've got CircuitMatter pulled up. I'm gonna hit this. This is telling me information about the device. You can see that like the strings are just CircuitMatter, and there's a remove accessory here, and I'm gonna remove it. And it actually does do a call to the device to say like, hey, I'm removing myself from you, which I presume will fail and then succeed, hopefully. Ludovic says, great job, good progress since last week. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So it's now disappeared, and we can see on the screen that we got a remove fabric call. So like, I'm trying not to leave like old orphan devices there. So what I can do now is if I remove live device state, this is as if I'm starting from scratch again. So if I do the replay example, I get a QR code. So it's what it used to be doing, like last week, was I was using certificates that were hard-coded from the Matter like de facto repo. But now what it's doing is it's actually, so there's a root certificate, there's an intermediate certificate, and then the device DAC one that I was talking about. So I now have a hard-coded intermediate certificate for CircuitMatter specifically that is signed by the public test key. And that's hard-coded in the database. So if you start up and the JSON file doesn't exist, it generates a new DAC signed by the hard-coded intermediate certificate. And then it also generates a new certification declaration that is signed by that DAC as well. So it means that this library no longer depends on the other Matter one at all. It just generates everything you need to be a custom device, an instance of a custom device, which I was pretty happy it went well. And then what I was doing today is that there are numbers that fit into this QR code, like a discriminator and a passcode. And now today, those things are dynamically generated at this point as well, where you start up without any state. They're now dynamically generated too, which will help you if you have multiple devices. It's also a little bit more secure because there's not just one value that all CircuitMatter devices will use. And that's encoded here in the QR code. And I was just working on the manual code too, which is like if you need to type it in instead of scanning it. So maybe what I'll do right here is I'll just like, after printing the QR code, I'm going to just print the manual code too. let's add that, and then I will commit it all, and I will set a new version, and I'll actually publish a new version. And once we do that, we could actually try to get it running on the Raspberry Pi, which would be an epic end to my week. Yeah, Pi plus LED and PyPI. Yes. So, okay. So I do want to print it out. So where does this happen? So there's this certificates.py, and now I have this generate initial state call that generates the CD, the DAC. It does a random passcode and a random discriminator, random salts, and then computes a verifier. So typically, well, if you want to match the spec, the passcode and the verifier are not saved, both saved to the device. The passcode itself gets stuck on other things, right? It's not actually in the device firmware. It's only like encoded in the QR code or the setup code. That's the only place you can find out what the passcode is. The device itself does not know. What the device knows instead is this verifier. And that's kind of how you, like, if you don't have that thing, then you can't get back into your device. Although not only is it usually on like the manual, but it's usually like also stuck in a sticker in the battery compartment or on the outside of the device. So it's harder to lose than it might be if it's on the manual. So now we're doing the manual code here, and it goes in initial state. And then if we go to our init.py, notice I've gotten rid of main.py. I know Toddbot was impressed by that, but I got rid of main.py because I wanted to have multiple examples that you could run. So now we have two. One that I haven't actually run, but is the one that I want to run on the Raspberry Pi. And here's show QR code, blah, blah, blah. But I also want to do print self, and then you can access non-volatile. Oh, it's not underscore. But it's just a dictionary. So we're going to do manual underscore code. Is that what I did it as? Yeah. Manual code. We're just going to print it out. And I think there was some extra prints I want to get rid of. So maybe we should test that the manual code works. Although I've actually added a couple unit tests to know that I'm generating it correctly. Okay, so this didn't work. So I didn't pair this, but it does have the manual code, so I can just rerun it. And now we show the manual code. So let's see if the manual code works here. I don't know for sure if it will. So on the QR code page, you can see hello. Sorry, let me go to presentation. So this says add accessory, and there's like this blue or orange link here for more options. So I'm going to hit more options here. And this is a discovery of the network, which I think there's a lot of blank matter accessories. I don't know what those come from. But I'm going to do the nearby one, I guess. And then it asks for a setup code. So in this setup code, I'm going to type this code in and see if I'm talking to the right thing. So it's the 3335 052 0290. So I've typed in the setup code, and I'm going to hit continue. And yep, it looks like it found it. So if I got to this point, it already downloaded the certification declaration that says we're a test device. So this is a good sign that we've got here. And now we're kind of like in the same phase that we were before. And again, we're at StudioWorks. And I guess I'll title this CircuitMatter. And now we're kind of like in the standard flow. It's going. I don't want it as a part of scene. And I'm done. And I can go on and off. And now I'm going to remove it again. All right. So that's worked well. So the manual code works, and we're printing it off just fine. I'm going to remove live device state. And I just want to remove, I don't know what this print is. And these prints I don't need now either. So I'm just going to, in fact, I'll clean it up here. So we should be able to see the work that I've just done. And we can go over this stuff. But I did want the manual code because the manual code is designed to be typed in when you can't use a QR code. So we want this, and it's interesting. The passcode is a random number, but they say you can't have these particular values. One thing to note is that this auto certificate generation stuff is hard coded to the hard coded intermediate certificate with the vendor ID of FFF4, which is like the least used. It is the least used test vendor ID. So FFF1 is like pretty commonly used in their stuff, which is why I'm using 4 instead. So these tables are interesting. I was looking through how to generate the manual code, and the last digit is actually like a checksum digit. So that's what I have here in the Wikipedia article. Like the Verhoef algorithm is a checksum for error detection first published by Dutch mathematician Jacobus Koos Verhoef in 1969. It's the first decimal check digit algorithm which detects all single digit errors and all transposition errors involving 2 adjacent digits, which was at the time thought impossible with such a code. And then somebody else came up with it in 1985. So here's the background on it and the mathematics behind it, which I quickly skipped. But there's a nice algorithm that they tell you, and here's the tables. Instead of doing like complicated math, you just have these 3 tables, and then you do this like pretty simple checksum process. So digits, you run that through here, and then you like swap the first digit for the thing that makes it all work. And that's what we're seeing here. So here's the tables, D, inverse, and P tables. I looked, so one thing I was referencing is that Espressif has, so just remind us, this can solely work solely on Wi-Fi, but you still need a hub gateway controller bridge and a PC software solution, but basically get a HomeKit Google Matter compatible hub bridge. Yeah, the default, the one that I always suggest is this Eve hub page. You do need one of these Eve hubs right now. So this is a good reference to like, and you can pick one depending on the ecosystem that you want to work within. And I should say there is a big omission here because Home Assistant does have Matter support as well. Yeah, so like, I don't know what it says. Add-on runs the controller software as a separate process. So yeah, so you actually don't, you could also do it through Home Assistant. And one thing I actually do want to maybe next week do is actually, if you have 2 of those devices, you actually have to do this like commissioning process twice. So yeah, there's still work to do. Anyway, I thought that was neat. I hadn't heard of this like checksum algorithm, but it's specifically for like a series of digits and making sure that you've typed them in correctly. Probably runnable on a Pi, but get Home Assistant running instead. Yeah, right now I've tested with, there's also this chip tool thing. If you look at the Matter, at CircuitMatter, there's a little bit, but I mean, it depends on what you want to do with it, but you can test it by using like chip tool or Apple Home or the iOS chip tool app that's for testing as well. But yeah, you want to figure out like what you want to integrate it with, I would say. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's get this checked in. So here's our compute manual code. So one thing I'm thinking is that this certificates.py file is only going to be loaded in memory when you need to generate your certificates, which is when your JSON file, it doesn't exist. If it does exist, you shouldn't need to import that. So that's why I've got these tables in here, is that I just like, I don't want to have them in memory for like whenever you're regularly running the Matter stuff. Move this code, deleted this, renamed this. So this I want to get rid of, this print I don't want. And this print, I think I just want to delete completely. Because the raw one was really not very helpful. And I split computing it and showing it. The Home Assistant Matter controller is not certified yet. I mean, does that matter? Like, you could still use it. It's based on the regular stuff. Yeah, I don't know how that matters. Does this Home Assistant green thing have thread support? That Yanni posted. Upgrade your smart home. Use the app. Works with almost everything. Home Assistant cloud subscription. Oh, there's an asterisk next to thread. Oh, but it's a dongle. So it would work for Wi-Fi stuff, but not. Interesting, it's their own board. I think it's cool that like the more open source side of things is pushing that. Okay, let's keep going. I actually don't care about. Do I care about that? Yeah, maybe that's okay. Let's just label it QR code. QR code data. You can use it, but it's probably why Eve isn't mentioning it. Yeah, true. Yeah, Eve is going for certified devices. That's a good point. Okay, and then this MDNS stuff I actually don't need. And then I added a test, so I do want that as well. Let's just do a quick. What is this print? There's like one more rogue print that's happening. Is that in here? It is. There we go. I like that. Okay, so that looks right. The last thing, and we can run pytest, and our tests still pass. There's one more spot if we're about to release it, and that's bumping the version number. So let's just call that 020, and we'll stage that, stage and stage. Now we'll do a commit. And the formatter is unhappy, but it fixes it all for us. So we'll just hit stage, stage, stage. Oh, oh, no, that's it. Okay, git commit again. Generate verifier. I guess random passcode. And discriminator. QR code and manual codes based on that too. I don't know if I filed an issue for it. No, I didn't. So I don't get to fix an issue. I had one for the saving or the certificate stuff. Push Adafruit main. And we'll also do 5 vulnerabilities. All right, I'll update my dependencies. I don't know why they like to. It's probably requirements.toml. I don't know why it's pinned. Let's see what it says. Pip install requirements. Upgrade. 8. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong place. Upgrade. Interesting. So I actually don't want, I want it all the way up to date. So this ESP Matter manufacturing tool generates this stuff too, but it, for the checksumming stuff, it requires this other like very large, like a megabyte zipped Python standard num library that just does a bunch of stuff. So that's why I re-implemented it instead. Okay, so now that we're up to date, let's just see, let's make sure it works. So let's run our replay again. So we got no errors there. I'll just QR code it. Add to home. Cannot send a message while waiting for an ACK. Huh. How did we get there? Okay, so Apple Home crashed, but we we got this message twice. And we tried to do it twice. We tried to reply to it twice, which we should not have done. We shouldn't have done that. Do I want to fix this bug now? Which act was it waiting for? Is there a state diagram? So I think what happened is that, and then this is the cool thing, right? So another thing that I changed that I didn't talk about is that I actually have test data recorded for each individual run. So the latest 3819, I should be able to just replay it and I get the same state. So I think what has happened is that we got this invoke to reply here. And we've replied, but we've gotten the request a second time. This is like totally a reliability thing. So we're in replay land now, so we can say, is this related to updating the dependencies? Probably not. It just might be a timing bug. But we can say sending copy, sending message with ACK to that. So what should have happened is that we should have marked this subsequent one as a duplicate. And I'm not sure why we didn't. Oh, sending message with an ACK to none. But it still should have been marked as a duplicate. Why isn't it a duplicate? Because the number is the same. Where do I have that code? I did that a while ago. Secure process counter. New message. Mark duplicate. Get session. Message reception state. Message duplicate. Process counter. Like this is So sending message with ACK to none is weird. See, so this says duplicate of this number, and then there's another duplicate of that number. Which means that it's I haven't done this code in a while. And I thought I had it tested. Like, I would expect it to oh. If I wonder what self-message counter is. I'm really happy I have this replay stuff set up. Okay, so we first get a message that is higher than our max. And then we get asked about 16, 20, 25, which is not a duplicate, but then we get it a second time and we do drop it. And then we get the previous one and we don't mark it. Or no, we, okay. I have a test case to add here. You know what? I wonder what pytest passes. It does. Okay, so here's a case where my code's not working. So not duplicate in window. That still doesn't mean that, like, even though it's a duplicate, it wants an acknowledgement of it. Are the requests UDP style packets? How many places are there opportunities to transmit or receive duplicates? So it's all UDP in this case, and there is a custom matter reliability protocol for managing incoming duplicates, replay attacks, and then pushing message counters out back. It's like, they call it MRP or something. But yeah, so we should try to get a test case. So it looks like, you know, not duplicate. Window wraps, otherwise bit position. New start. This is a new message. Message counter window size. See, new bitmap is I thought this should set. A bit. And let's do print bin self window bitmap, and then print bin self window bitmap. It just shifts one. I thought this duplicate stuff was working. Not duplicate in window. Let's look at my test cases. Basics, unencrypted, no rollover. Ay. Dev test blah. And it's a, I don't even know. I guess I could print that out. Well, folks, sorry. I mean, I'm not too excited to get to Raspberry Pi land. I wonder if it's that, like, it's far enough along, or... I mean, again, it is really nice that... One thing that's interesting to me is that one means that it's okay. Right, so it's being shifted left as things get taken up. This is one of the first things I did, so it's like breaking my brain a little bit. I wonder if my in-window test is backwards. If self-message counter, bit position, if window bit map is not 1, not duplicate in window. But this not duplicate thing. Window bitmap. New bitmap. If one between shift and message counter size, then we set it. Oh. Do you think this needs to be? Ha. That's it. None of my tests go a single shift. That's probably what it is. Message reception state. Older messages are not okay. The current max is not okay. A new value, but 126 is okay. And then you can do intermediate ones. But this is a shift of what if we add a current max is not okay. Does it need to be 125? Or we do 124 and then we check 123 again. Okay. So here's for test-driven development sorts of things. Current max plus 1 is okay. Old current max isn't. So what we do is we go back to our session state, we remove our fix, and we do pytest. Expected indent block. Oh. I don't know how the later 124 plus 5 would be okay. So 124 plus 5. Oh, yeah. So this 124 should work now. I think that's what you're saying. Okay, so we failed. Our old current max isn't. So the counter, it's complicated. You just don't want higher than the counter. You actually have, they use a bit mask of 32 bits as a history of things. So if you get something that's 8 ahead of your current max, you could get the 7 in between and not consider them duplicates. It's like very complicated. So yeah, I was just missing, like I had this kind of bounds error with the shift of 1. So now if we test it again, if I refix it, it passes. And then I wonder if it will, is it resending? Dropping message 2024, but I think we should resend the reply. So you're supposed to shift plus that. I don't remember what that is. I don't remember why it's there. It's been too long. It may not be that we want shift. That high. It might be that we want counter. I have some decent tests for it, but I don't know if any of the tests are getting there. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. Raise runtime error. Let's see if this code path is tested. It is. So I'm going to say it's right, and I don't remember why. What does Python do with a real large shift? I don't remember. I don't know. Like, shift is not going to be positive. It will be... Oh. This plus is probably making shift positive. That makes sense. It's like flipping the sign bit. I don't know. I don't remember. But it's part of my tests. Okay, so we're gonna fix that. Got about an hour. Oh, you know what? I did want, before I remove all my prints, I do want to make sure that the exchange is sending. See, so we say if there's a pending retransmission, then we send it again. Blah, 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 whatever. I don't care what it is. But in the thing, we should see that, like, oh, we've got this duplicate. Oh, and on the exchange, we have something like, we got a duplicate because the other end didn't get the thing that it was expecting, right? So that's why we don't do what we're supposed to do that we don't do right now is you send something and there's a period of time or a process for resending it in case it doesn't get acknowledged by the other side. But in practice, because we're a device, from what I found, we're always like, there's somebody else waiting for a response for us, and their retry logic will resend things to us. So as long as that resend is reliable, it'll be fine. So that's the like, oh, we got a duplicate message. Like, let's make sure that like we resend the thing that it clearly like it didn't get as well. And remember, they have the same deduplication happening on their end, so like we could actually send it multiple times from our side as well. Okay, let's clean up these prints now that we understand my bounds check error. And it looks like this did work. Actually, let's actually test it. Let's run the live test again to see if Apple is okay with it. Because there might be more dependency stuff that we hit. QR code, add anyway. Set the location. I really shouldn't type CircuitMatter every time that it asks me what device it is. Light name, continue, done. On, off, accessory settings. So it does say at the top here, it's like, this is not a certified device. It says, this accessory has not been certified to work with HomeKit, so some features may not be available. So it does tell you that as well. And then further down, it also says HomeKit certified now. So we'll remove that. We get to remove fabric, and we're done. All right, so let's commit this. Fix bounds check error in duplicate detection. Git push. And now we'll do our 2.0 or 0.2.0. So flit publish, and I will do a new release. Huh. We have a tag, but we don't have a release. Because it's a pre-release? Kind of work. More standalone. All of the certificates, passcodes that it needs. Doesn't need anything provided in device state to start. I'll just publish it as a stable one. Tag name cannot be blank. What? There we go. I actually want it to show up as released over here. Okay, do I have time to do Raspberry Pi stuff? I guess I could, maybe I do. I am picking up the child today. The child. Let me see. How big of an SD card do I need for Raspberry Pis at this point? The biggest one I have here is 32, which is not a lot. I guess it is. Let's go to learn. Raspberry Pi. That's loads. Time-lapse camera. Is this guide going to tell me? No. Linux on single-board computers. MicroPython. Blinka on Raspberry Pi. Download the latest PyOS or PyOS Lite to your computer. Burn the image. Here we go. This is what I want. Thank you, Melissa. With desktop and recommended software. Lite. 500 megabytes. Do I need regular or 64-bit? 64-bit is 0 to... There's no non-W, right? I have a 0 2 and it has an antenna on it. I think this is what I need. Download. See how fast my internet is. I love fiber. 16 would be fine for an LED test. All right, we'll use the 32. Hopefully it worked. I don't know what's on it. Maybe I'll look off screen just to make sure. Okay, so I plugged my SD card into my adapter. And now let's see what's on this card before I do it. Most of these cards I think are just CircuitPython test. Pix. It's called Pix and it's got a kernel8.image on it, which actually might be CircuitPython, like CircuitPython for Raspberry Pi. I'm going to safely remove it. And now I think what I have to do is plug it in again and burn the image to your micro SD card. Raspberry Pi imager. Head here to download the... I do. It's probably an old version. Choose device. 02. OS. Oh look, I don't want the desktop one. This is what I just downloaded, isn't it? I want to SSH into it. Choose storage. Pix. Host name. What should we call it? Matter. Sure. Username and password. Wireless. Yes, please. Username and password. Tannewt. COPPER.PENNY. Don't worry, I don't use this password for anything I care about. I will do my wireless password off the screen. I gotta find it. I am working off screen to set my Wi-Fi credentials. Oh, there they are. It's okay. I don't care. Although that was my pirate weather API key, wasn't it? How much longer is it? Oh, technically I should change that, I guess. That's annoying. Should have thought about that one. Although I don't, it's not a paid plan. But. Okay, so I'm setting device name, services, enable SSH with password. Then in options, play sound when finished. Yes. Darn. Can the Matter device suggest a device name for clients so you wouldn't have to retype CircuitPython Lite each time you add one? I think so. And this is something I've been kind of wanting to just wait until I have it working with CircuitPython because I want to default to the board name. Although, yeah, I guess the user code could set it too. Yeah, I think so. I just haven't looked into it. Although I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if, I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but I don't know. Because, like, it clearly knows CircuitMatter for some things. There is, like, a user label thing and a fixed label cluster, so, but I don't think I've seen it read those, although it gets everything. I don't know. Probably. Just haven't looked at it. If I could SSH into this after this, that would be awesome. I don't know what version of Python it comes with either. Does it? 3.12's been out for like a year, at least. And I think CircuitMatter requires 3.12 at this point. And you know what I didn't get yet is an LED. Although I wouldn't mind doing a NeoPixel either. I didn't see a NeoPixel hat or something. But we'll see. We'll see how far I get with this. I guess I've got 40 minutes, so I got time. Any questions about this? I know I was like in the weeds figuring out that counter stuff. But I'm glad I figured it out. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. USB and power in. That's right, because it's USB host usually. That's what they expect. I think I should be able to supply enough power for it. All right, I can eject. Thank you. Set this up. Put the card in. There isn't just an LED you can control on the device, right? That would be too microcontroller-y. I guess they're expecting me to Is there not a single LED on this thing? I'm just supposed to, like, feel if it's warm? Or see if it comes up on the network? I guess there's serial output somehow too, isn't there? Can you tell why I work on CircuitPython? Like, what is this? Why is this so complicated? Did I configure the serial console? I checked the box to start SSH. I called it matter. UART. I don't know where the UART is. I could get my... The desktop free one probably still has the console and the HDMI display, doesn't it? Oh, you know what? I can try to capture the output. Hold on, let me get... I think I need the adapter from the small HDMI to the big one. Hold on. Trying to find my HDMI cable. This one is too small. I need like a micro, not a mini. I have no power. All right. Clearly, I don't do a lot of Raspberry Pi work. I can't find my HDMI cable adapter. I do have two more 02Ws, it looks like. So if this one is not... Oh, you know that. Let's try these other ones. So I don't see an LED. It looks like it's plugged in. It feels a little warm. No. MDNS is not working. Maybe I broke it. These other ones are fresh out of a package. There's not a power switch, is there? No? The other thing is I can burn it as a Pi. What is this? Pi 4 Model B. And I had my small HDMI. So I'll switch the image for Pi 4 Model B, and then we'll be able to get some HDMI output too. Although it's going to do a 4K HDMI, right? And I guess it will do lower if it needs to. Okay. Imager. This imager thing is quite nice. Choose a device. Pi 4. Other. Light. $32 gig. I assume it's that one. That one. Next. Okay, I'm going to get my other HDMI cable. I'll be right back. This one. And plug in power. Actually, you know what I can do? Sorry, I'm not mic'd up, but I actually have bench. You can see all of you can at least see what I'm doing here, even if it's kind of terrible. So plug this in to HDMI 0. And then what I'll do is once the SD card's written, I'll do the capture card. And I have a power strip on the back here by the camera. The DVD spindle, yeah, it's a, well, I should put it away, but it's actually the like Blu-ray discs. Yeah, the reason it's here is I burned a CD. These are like the end discs that are supposed to last forever, and I actually burned one full of pictures of my mom, and put it in her, like in her grave with her ashes. So that's what I should put it away, but yeah, that's the reason I'm a nerd like that. Like, how do you get digital data preserved forever? And yeah, I do not clean up things. At least now the RP2350 is launched, so I don't have to worry too much about things showing up there. I think my sister and my dad didn't know what to think of that. But okay. Oh, I guess I'll go back to desktop because I'm waiting for it to. I also have desktop with overhead and VLC. The VLC one might be helpful because I'm gonna use that capture HDMI capture thing to do that. Okay, so I'm removing the SD card adapter, putting the capture thing in, and plugging in the Raspberry Pi to that, doing the micro SD card, and I'm gonna plug it in. Maybe let me do the VLC thing first. Message. or I was doing LH dev video. I really don't like that video devices are not named well. It's very silly. CVLC video 6. Device or resource busy. 330. Did it not? See this USB input 4. That's what I was trying to figure out, is what maybe because it doesn't have a video stream yet, and it's not. No? Not a radio tuner. U2 IF support isn't possible for the C6 feather, correct? I don't know. And disks do not hold a lot of data, and they are very slow to write. It's not great for bulk stuff. I'm not sure why that's not working. But let me plug in my Raspberry Pi and see if anything happens. Oh, darn it. This power supply is micro A. Sorry. I think I have a power supply that's type C. This even has a Raspberry Pi logo on it. Hey, we've got a light. So we know it's running. I keep zapping everything. I gotta hi, cat. I gotta get my wrist strap set up. I see a light blinking. Matter.local? No. Could not find it. The other thing I could do, my HDMI capture is still not. Does this bad webcam software? I shouldn't say bad. It's basic webcam software. I thought that's what it was. I thought that's how I viewed it. The light is on. Does it work? Come on. Why Scott works on CircuitPython. Stuff is too complicated otherwise. Like, the light is on and there was some blinking happening, but I don't know what the blinking means. And for some reason my movies as me as a little kid. I don't know why I can't just play. Input cannot be opened. This capture thing used to work. The other thing I could do is I do have, I think it might be down here. I do have a display that I could look at too. Or heyo. Yay, I got in. I do have a TTL to serial cable somewhere. Should the rest of the thing be me trying to find it? Okay, what version of Python do we have? 3.11. Oh, that may not work. Python m VM. I remember right? Yeah. I'm glad SSH finally worked. I think I don't remember how slow Pis are. And I'm in bash. I'm not in. Zero 2 0. We don't have our requirements correct. Let's do Vim. I don't have Vim installed. Nano? Heyo. Okay, let's go. Let's pull up the example code. I want to do a CircuitMatter simple test. Copy. Paste. Code.py. Sure, why not? Python code.py, and then it will complain. And we're going to have to fix this. And I know we're going to need cryptography and QR code as well. VI is probably there. Yeah, this is a 4B that I'm on now. I don't mind. Well, I might want Vim, but. Okay, so now it's trying to find digital I/O. So this is where we install Blinka, which we have the learn guide for. We activated SSH. Pi will reboot while it sets up, so wait a good 10 minutes. .local. Update your Pi and Python. Does that mean we'd get Python 3.12? I guess. Well, this worked anyway. Automated install. Huh. Most of it is installing the dependencies. Okay. Nice thing is, like, this is all I'm going to use the Pi for. Okay. Updating system packages. All right, this might take a while. You might need the system packages flag for the VM creation. Not sure if GPIO requires it or some bit of blinka. Ah, okay. That's good to know if it doesn't work. Might be here a while. No Python 3.12 though. I'm afraid that I'm using an enum thing that's Python 3.12. Which maybe I should just remove. I didn't expect this to just work. Python 3.12. Backport. Yeah, this is why I don't use Debian. I like to be right on the bleeding edge, although I don't think I'm on Python 3.13 yet, because it is out 3.12.7. My Pi has Python 3.11.12. Yeah, see, like, it would be better for me to just make CircuitMatter work with Python 3.11 than, like, require everybody to figure out how to install 3.12. Like, it's really minor. Like, there's, like, enums in Python 3.12. You can say, like, if this number is in the enum. So I could just change it. I could just change that so it's 3.11 compatible, which would be good. So I'm installing Blinka. Should figure out how to set our dependencies while we do that. So in pyproject.toml, optional dependencies. I don't know how to do it. Set dependencies. PyProject. We could say that's under project. Right now it's 3.12. README requires Python dependencies. ECDSA. Cryptography, ECDSA, and QR code. Right now, and I think I want to delete this requirements because I only want them in one place. For packaging. I could do the Still going. Okay. I think that's it. Utab. What? Source. Okay, so it did get the dependencies there. That's all I was checking. And then how do I have it pull the README? Because I noticed on PyPI project. PyPI doesn't have it either. Okay, and let's actually just bump the version and push it to see if that fixes some of this stuff. 012, 021. Stage. Py projects. Dependencies. Push Adafruit main. Flit. Publish. And let's do. Did I keep these in sync? So we'll do another release. Set dependencies correctly. Yeah, I don't know why they let us choose a title. Like, is there a from future? I'm not sure. It's like one place, I think, and we'll figure out how to change it, and it'll be fine. Okay, blinka's still going. Enabling I2C. Spy, serial, SSH camera. Make sure Py3 is the default. Okay. It's still going. We published 021, so we'll actually be able to update it. We'll probably want to this may use the Python environment. We'll see. We're just about out of time. Do folks have any other questions? Slash, do you think I'm gonna actually have time? Do you think this will work? Can I get it running in 10 minutes? I really have no idea how long this install is gonna take. Better dig out an LED or buzzer. Can I actually control the LED on the... I guess I can't. The activity light. Yeah, I guess you're right. I could find an LED. I could just hook it up to my CLA. Watch it there. Although it's not nearly as exciting. I guess I've got time to find it. I've got to find it. Time to find an LED. I've got a big, chunky red one somewhere. Oh. I have an oscilloscope right here. I could just use that. But. Where's my chunky red LED? feel like it should be on my desk, but you tell I do a lot of hardware. Pi 2350 picos. I need to clean my desk. Reboot time. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll let it reboot. Thank you for the. I didn't actually get pinged. I just saw them mention. Ooh, this is my like work from home box. It's like yeah, I guess that's the dev kit that came in it, but it's like a pretty nice plastic box where I've got like a bunch of random boards and things for doing testing when I'm on the go. I think there might be an LED in here. This is what I'm like, why can't you just put an LED on the board that's user controlled? Come on. Basic things. Oh. These look like LEDs. I don't know what the color they are, and I have to look up. Hopefully they're not UV. There is some LED here. I wish I had something easier. I'm so lazy. I don't want to have to use a breadboard. I want something I could plug right into it. So we think maybe my, what's in here? What's in my Adafruit lunchbox? Soldering stuff. That's right. I found some LEDs. I don't know what color they are. Let's see if we can get back to this. Then we need to source it again, right? Oh, because there's no test data. How do I apt get install vim? That's what my fingers want to test. No, I'm not root. Now I'm root. Yes, it's fine. Any other questions? We'll see how far this gets. If I get a QR code, I'm maybe shocked. Does it have Avahi by default? I don't know. We should check that. I am tempted to get this going, but I have to go pick Ari up. So it crashed because I was trying to get it to look in a directory. Okay, so we don't have Avahi. Nope, it's not Avahi. I'm not surprised. I know it's running MDNS because that's how I'm talking to it. Service Avahi daemon status. Okay, so we have it. We just don't have the publish. Avahi-utils sounds right. Is there some Python library for mdns/avahi? I'm not. I don't think so. How do I install this? Shouldn't be this hard. Oh, is it just Avahi publish? Other packages. There's a Python utility package. Maybe that's what I should actually be targeting. Utils, not tools. Here we go. It's Avahi publish service. Try it again. The host name's hard coded, and you know what? In fact, I think the IPv6 address is hard coded too. Now that I think about it, that's going to be a problem. That is, if we look here, I've hard coded the address, so it's not going to work, along with the host name. All right, on that bombshell. It mostly works. Does it have IP address? It does. Although wireless LAN, oh, it does have a link local address. So we're just, I don't know how to get that address very well here, but yeah, progress. Progress. Thank you all. This has been a pleasure. If you want to try to get this working over the weekend, feel free. You know the current state that I have. You're going to want to hard code those two things. But then maybe it'll work. We'll see. So this has been another deep dive. Thanks for joining me for this 2-hour exploration into me finding cables for my Raspberry Pi and getting it going. I did think of it, and it was very helpful to have folks pointing me in the right direction for getting this going. So if the baby doesn't come over the weekend, I will be working on this on Monday. The baby is due a week from Monday, so it's happening. If you want to keep up to date with Deep Dive and things that are going on, you can go to the Discord server. That's the middle one here by going to the URL adafru.it/discord. Ask to be added to the Deep Divers role. I'll just ping Deep Divers to say when I'm out. And then Tim will be able to tell you whether he is doing deep dives in my place. He covered deep dives for me when I was on paternity leave with my first kid. So preemptive thanks to Tim for that. If you want to support me, Adafruit does pay me to work on this stuff, and they pay me to stream. So you can go to adafruit.com, purchase hardware there. I think Pies are in stock too, although I don't know if 0 2s are. Let me just pull it back up. 0, 0, 2. No, they're not in stock. I guess it's a 02W. Raspberry Pi regular 0. So all of these should be fast enough to be able to run. So anything with blinka should be fine. These Pi 4s are in stock. So if you want to follow along with what I'm doing, I'd suggest picking up a Pi. It'll be a little while before CircuitPython can run CircuitMatter. So if you're itching to make a device, it's going to crash because there's definitely bugs like we found in the duplicate detection today. But yeah, we're getting there. So yeah, adafruit.com. I might see you next week, probably, but the week after is probably not. So next week will probably be my last deep dive. You can follow the project and progress on CircuitMatter at github.com/adafruit/CircuitMatter. I'm showing you on the screen and realizing I'm not sharing my screen. But yeah, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you maybe next week. We'll see. It's a little bit of a gray day out there, and a little chilly too. Thanks all, and preemptive thanks for DCD, who usually takes time.